Welcome to the show. I'm Josafat Emiliano. Miguel is just chilling on the guitar as always. Welcome to Hey Rockstar. For those of you, if it's your first time, welcome. This is a storytelling platform where I share a lot of my stories, but I also bring some amazing guests who share their stories with value to inspire you, to encourage you, to empower you, to detach from failure, take ownership, and develop the right mindset to become the rock star of your industry. It is the week after Thanksgiving. I am so excited to be back. I feel like this thing's a little warmer than it should be. Let's go and turn it down a bit. Hopefully it's not too soft now. And since the music's off, I'm going to take off my headphones because we really don't need that. This is episode 58, entitled When It Hits the Fan. A lot of you know what I'm talking about. If it's your first time, I ask you please do the thing, the love, the share, the subscribe, the tell your friends about us. And if you're a repeat offender, if you're a repeat customer, I sure do appreciate you coming back. Guys, we took a break during the Thanksgiving holiday, because I was traveling, went to go spend some time with my family. But a lot has happened. And I guess that's kind of why I want to talk about when it hits the fan, when things suddenly pile up against you. I'm going to take up the shades because I like to be a little bit more approachable, if you would. This is a topic that some of you, we love wins. We love when we succeed. We love when we fly. We love when we're just killing the game. We're killing it at the game. But it really, really irks us when sudden things take a hit. When suddenly things aren't working like they were supposed to, or they were going. You either lost 2020, example. That was a big it that hit the fan for many people. A lot of people suffered. A lot of people lost a lot. But I'm just going to share what's been happening to me. And I got to go ahead and be upfront with you all, ladies and gentlemen. What brought this together? What brought this up? The holidays, everything's doubled up. I got everything. I have so much things happening, not just in this state, but back in Texas. So many projects going on. And all of a sudden, in the midst of it all, I get a call from my landlord to inform me that the owner of the property finally sold this property. And well, it's been sold before, but the owners didn't do anything with it. So that owner sold it to someone else. And they had extra money, so they decided that now is the time that they want to demolish this little place that I've called home for almost 2 years now. And they gave me my 30-day notice. Of course, it's a lot less now, because this happened right as I was packing up and getting ready to go off to celebrate Turkey Day with my family. So during the holidays, especially the drive, first of all, I had found out that I have to move out. I have to find a new place. And last minute's notice. Not only that, but the options that I have for a place, at least this area. Because I was starting to work I actually just agreed to start working more time at a certain school. And so this place was key. This place was beautifully located to get me to where I needed to get to. It's just a great location. But anyway, he said there's another place close by. It's double the amount of rent. And I'm like, and here's the funny thing is that, just thinking to myself, I can afford it. I can. Thankfully now I can afford it, but I really enjoyed paying as little as I was paying here at this little place. Granted, the other place is bigger, but again, I don't even know if I qualify yet or not. So anyway, all these things are up in the air. Not only that, and of course, this is just like a lot of people have reached out to me and like they're checking on me like, Josafat, are you good? Are you okay? Do you need help? Do you need assistance? And the truth is, I'm good. I have other plans. I actually have people who are looking for roommates, and that's another thing. Do I want roommates, or do I want to be by myself? That's another thing. I mean, I prefer to be by myself, but with roommates, it would be easier to manage financially, or what. And so, the first temptation that I had, and this is just me sharing my heart. There's no structure really to where I'm going. And maybe if I do come up with certain points, they're going to be organic because I didn't make any notes on this. But the first thing that came to my mind is I saw how far I've come. Because instead of asking myself, what? I started asking myself, how? Instead of what can I do, or I started asking myself, how can I do this? You see, when you come from a mindset of lack, you start seeing for the easy way out. You start seeing for what can you manage. But when you come from a mindset of abundance, you get creative. And so, all right, a lot of thoughts here. So one thing I was thinking to myself is, all right, Josafat, yes, it'd be easier. It would be easier to maintain what you're paying, have roommates, and do all this stuff. But at the same time, what's to keep you from staying comfortable? Whereas now there is a challenge to step up my game, to push up to another level, to force myself to think creatively. Okay, so how do I level up? What can I do? How can I take care of this next need? I want to stay in this area. How can I do this? And so that mindset didn't come easy because one was fear-based and the other one is faith-based. And no, the opposite of faith isn't fear. Or the opposite of fear isn't faith. Sorry, that was a quote that was said at our church, and let me just not get into that. But when it hits the fan, your reaction, your response will depend highly on how you've prepared yourself. Instead of freaking out and thinking to myself, oh my gosh, why, how, instead of becoming a victim, I thought to myself, like Ed Milet always teaches on his videos, this is for me. How is this for me? This is done for me, not to me. And this experience has taught me that I have become more resourceful. I have many more options. And then I have to step back, and that's when I'm starting to sit back. And of course, I haven't made up my decision. I'm still praying about it. I'm still meditating about it because I see the benefit. I see the benefits now of both having roommates and not having roommates. For example, I have some big projects that are coming along where I will be out of the state for months at a time. I still want to keep things here. I still want to have a home here, but I'll be out of state. And to have my own place, I can't stay away from my own place. This house can't stay by itself without somebody coming in and out. But if I had a place that I share with roommates, then they will take care. They will continue on with making sure the house is lived in until I come back and resume business as usual. That's an option I have. Another option would be sell it all. Get an RV. No. Another option I have is, of course, I also have to, before I go to that, I have to also counterbalance the fact that the space that I'll be moving into. If I move with roommates, will I still be able to do my show as often, as frequently as I do, as easily as I can? You see, another thing about another because I also weigh the benefits. If I had my own place in one room, I can just convert it into my studio, and it would be permanently my studio. I wouldn't have to tear down every time I'm done with the show. I just can leave it, and if I feel inspired in the middle of the night, I can just turn everything on, and we can shoot another show, and we can create more content for you guys. See, that would be a positive of having my own place. I guess what I'm trying to say is, when you become a person of abundance, when you've prepared yourself to think in that manner, you see the blessing behind the incident, and you tend to see things through a creative limelight. Now, the opposite can be true. Can also be stated. The opposite can also be true. Like today, I was reading this fascinating story about a tree. You know what? Actually, I screenshot this story because it was really, really an interesting story. So I want to share it with you guys. It's not that long. But it was said that one of the great legends that was read from naturalists, the story goes that on the slope of long peaks in Colorado lies the rump of a gigantic tree. Naturalists tell us that it stood for some 400 years. It was a seedling when Columbus landed at San Salvador, and half grown when the Pilgrims settled at Plymouth. During the course of its long life, it was struck by lightning 14 times, and the innumerable avalanches and storms of 4 centuries thundered past it. It survived them all. But in the end, however, an army of beetles attacked the tree and leveled it to the ground. The insects ate their way through the bark and gradually destroyed the inner strength of the tree by their tiny but incessant attacks. A forest giant, which age had not withered, nor lightning had blasted, nor storms subdued, fell at last before beetles so small that a man could crush them between his forefinger and thumb. And the moral of the story, or the lesson learned in this, is big things will come to you, pilgrim. Big things will happen. Big incidents. Maybe a separation, maybe a loss of career, a sudden change of environment, or maybe a change of physical state. Something big can happen. But you have the potential, you have the power, you have the gift to overcome, to stand, to live on. However, little things, if you take too much mind by little annoyances, if you practice ungratefulness, if you're just constantly looking at the negative in any little situation, those little nagging bits in life will be enough to eventually wear you down. And when the will has been worn down, then a simple blow, a simple push can knock you down, and you, for the life of you, won't have the strength to get up. It all starts with a mindset, y'all. It all starts with the attitude that you decide to have. You see, when it hits the fan, if you spend your days just focused on the negative, focused on the curse, focused on whatever bad things are happening around you, your morale will be so low that anything can knock you down. But worse, you won't have incentive. You won't have the desire, the emotion to get back up. You would have already lost in life. You would have already lost the fight in your eye. However, if you spend your days meditating and reading on what is good, what is positive, what is love, what is life, what is possible, if you fill your mind with stories of people who have prevailed against all odds, if you're constantly seeking mentors who have done things beyond their comprehension, beyond their limitations, if you drive inspiration from those stories, if you fill your mind with all things are possible, if you are filled with this, and no matter how hard the attack, no matter how much of the it hits the fan, you will get back up. You will continue to have hope. You will continue to create. You will continue to have something that inspires and gets you back up. You get back up. Right now, I just talking about it hitting the fan. I was thinking about another story that I heard, or another parable, if you want to put it that way. It's not so much a parable, but an illustration. There were two twins, or there were a set of twins. And the father decided to experiment. He noticed that one, no matter what you did, was very pessimistic, and the other one was a very optimistic person. And in one room, the father blessed or filled this room with a bunch of toys and a bunch of gifts and a bunch of just abundance, and let the pessimistic child go in. And instead of playing and being happy, he just sat on the ground and he started whining about, there's so many options. There's so many things. He couldn't make up his mind what to do. There's not enough time for everything. And instead of playing, he just complained that he didn't have time to be able to play, to give to every one of the items in this room. And the father took that and observed that. And then the optimistic son, he intentionally put him in a room full of manure. And this little boy was giggling and laughing and digging into the muck, into the it. And finally, the father, like, son, what's going on? Why are you so happy? You have literally it in your face. And the little boy looked at his father and laughing, he's like, Dad, with so much manure, there's bound to be a pony in here somewhere. His cup was full. His cup was full with life, possibilities. Everything happens for me, not to me. Whereas the other one, the pessimistic, he had filled his cup with negative, with lack, with nothing will be enough, or with just the doldrums or the drama or whatever of the world. And everything to him happened to him. My friend, my brother, my sister, it all begins with what you start putting in here. You see, when it hits the fan, it will simply reflect on what you have prepared yourself. So before it hits the fan, before the big crapper happens to you, prepare yourself with hope. Fill yourself with stories of life. Seek out mentors who have done it and draw inspiration from that, and know that no matter how bad things get, you can get back up. You see, I got to the point where I started thinking, counting my loss, this stuff is stuff. If something happens and I have to lose it all, okay. I still have my health. I still have my mindset. I still have people that I love, people who I've worked with, or people who cherish me. I still have my reputation. I can get up. I can keep working. I still have strength to keep working and go again. Because life isn't about completing. Life isn't about running. Sorry. Life isn't about finishing the race. It's about running as though to finish the race. It's the way you run. Because when you finish the race, it's over. That's not the goal. The goal is to enjoy the adventure, to enjoy the journey, to take time to appreciate what is around you. And one of the best ways to get that mental mindset up there is to start saying thank you. You know, I was reading, it was actually a very powerful little book. The book is called It They Don't Teach in Schools. And in the book, it was talking about, imagine, he goes back in 2016, and I actually remember when this happened. Because I remember in 2016, the national lottery was up to 1 point something billion. And I remember everyone around me was like, well, we got to buy tickets. We're ready to buy tickets. And everyone was buying tickets. And someone here in Tennessee actually won it that year. Won the national whatever. And that day, they went home with $500 and something million. Now imagine if you were to win that lottery, that amount today. Now imagine you were to win it every day for 10 days or a whole month. And then the book goes on to say, you know, honestly, you've won the lottery so many times in your life in different aspects. For example, the fact that you're born on this planet, that you exist on this planet, the chance that you're born on this planet instead of some other planet that they cannot sustain life, or you already won that lottery. You're on a planet that sustains life. Imagine that you were born, or it's also the fact that you were born a human and not a caterpillar, or not a deer that's going to get eaten by a lion. You won that lottery, that you get to spend this life as a human, a conscious human being on the upper end of the food chain. Imagine not only that, but of the possibilities of everyone who got you should also be thankful that your parents, your great-great-grandparents chose, your great-great-grandfather chose your great-great-grandmother to get it on with. Because if any one of those people chose someone different, you wouldn't exist today. You already won that lottery. And then when it was your turn, when your parents did it, 1 out of a billion sperm cells to make it to the egg. Again, it could have been anyone else, but it was you who made it. You won that lottery. Every day is a new breath. You won another lottery. You see, the fact that you have already won, you're winning. You're on a winning streak, my friend. You are on the winning streak. And keep that mindset. I have won. I am winning. I will keep on winning. All I do is win, no matter what. Because you know how to focus that mind. When you create that mindset of all I do is win, when it hits the fan, when life just takes up on you, you can get up. It's not the end of the world. It might suck. It might stink. It might not be pretty. But the beauty is that that situation, that incident, does not define you and doesn't own you. You own you. You define you. You choose whether you're gonna stay down or you can get back up. That's what you do when it hits the fan. So this is probably gonna be a short one, and I'm okay with that. I started looking at all my options. I started looking at the possibilities. And you know, the funny thing is, I'm also looking at other opportunities, occupational opportunities that I never thought I had. I don't know how many people have offered me jobs recently, and I have the choice to say no because I'm working on my passion right now. But I like the location I'm at. Anyway, that's all I wanted to share with you guys. That eventually, there's a funny saying in sales that when you start getting too many wins, you might start regretting it because some losses are coming. You gotta get ready for those. But on the contrary, when a lot of losses are happening, get excited because a big win's about to happen. Because all you do is win. Win, win, win. That's all I had for you. No, I didn't want to dive too much into today. Just want to let you know that I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if this show's going to continue on once I have to move out of this place. I would like to, but I don't know how that's going to look like. The studio's not going to be the same. That's okay. Take a picture of it. Remember, the Hey Rockstar studio today can only get better. I'm not giving up, though. Maybe it's just now it's time for me to have a place and a studio place. I feel like I should bring a lot more to the table today, but you know what? Less is best. The holidays are around the corner. And I've already paid for all the gifts, or I've already paid for all the gifts that I need for my immediate family. I'm already ahead of the game. It's December 2nd, and I already have all my Christmas gifts. I'm waiting for one to come in. It's supposed to come in tomorrow. But that'd be pretty much everyone on my Christmas list. I'm winning, y'all. I have no reason to get upset. I have no reason to. Job said it best. How can we only expect the good from God and not? How can we only take the good from God, not the bad? Of course, I don't believe God gives us bad, but He definitely gives us the strength and the ability we need to make it through the bad times. He definitely gives us a will and His presence, a promise that He's with us. He'll never forsake us. That in itself is faith. That is something that I can get behind. That is something that I can stand to. But at the same time, there's a twinkle in my eye, because this next season is bigger than me. This next season in my life is bigger than what I'm ready for. And the proof is that it is hitting the fan. The proof that it is hitting the fan shows that I'm not ready for next season. And why am I excited? Because that means I need to stretch. I need to be pulled. I need to be uncomfortable again to succeed in this next season, to rise up to the occasion. But no matter what, I will not give up. I will get back up. I will rise up. I will fight. I will pledge. I will work. I will create. I will do whatever is in my possibilities to step up to the next level. Because that's what I do when it hits the fan. My mind has been ready. My heart is ready. My spirit is ready to rise up, to keep going when it hits the fan. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this was Hey Rockstar, episode 58, when it hits the fan. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? you got to do something. Might as well do something forward. There's a book from John Maxwell called Failing Forward. Such an amazing little, just the title itself. If you're going to fail, at least fail falling forward. Because that would at least have put you a little further on ahead. Don't fail back. Fail forward. Because then, as the saying goes, you either win or you learn. There's no failures. There's life lessons that teach you and prepare you for the next challenge to come. And if you succeed, you succeed. And if you don't, you learn how to do it next time. I remember T-Pack. All right, now the stories are coming out. I remember T-Pack. I was given the chance to, I'm just going to go and say what happened. I was assigned a certain prop, and my job as the head flyman, the guy who does the ropes, was to bring everything down for whenever they needed to test things up in the rail system. And we'd fly away props, we'd fly away walls, we'd fly away lights. It was all counterbalance. Well, I remember one point we had a chandelier up there. And I was flying away something, and I didn't pay attention, and it hit the chandelier, and it broke. Oh, man, my heart sunk. Because I went too far. I shouldn't have gone that far. And my leader at the time was LaSalle. And, the way he came out, it felt kind of heartless, but I appreciate what he said. When it came down, and I told him what had happened, he looked at me and goes, well, now you know. Don't go that far up anymore. That's kind of like a jerk move. Like, that's not what I need to hear. But the truth is, what could he do? The damage was done. But what was most important is, what did I learn? Was I going to repeat? And they fixed it as best they could for the show. It looked good for the show. It got fixed. But I learned my lesson. Whenever I raised the other pipe or the other rail, I never went that high again. I even put my mark, and I made sure to always stop right before, because I was not gonna let it go back up that high. I learned my lesson, and the way he said it, well, now you don't ever you never raise up that up again, and I didn't. I failed. I felt miserable, but the show went on. And they don't talk about that anymore. But I remember a lesson, especially that lesson. I don't do that again. That's why spare the rod, spoil the child is such an important policy or principle. Because when a child messes up, they need to learn not to do that again. And we need some kind of shock value to remind us, hey, there's pain associated with that mistake. I don't want to do that again. But if there's no pain associated with mistake, what's to keep us from doing the same mistake over again? And that's when Albert Einstein said that's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. But especially if there's no consequences for doing the same bad thing over and over again. Anyway, I don't know why I went there. This is about when it hits the fan. What to do when it hits the fan. And the truth is, you should be doing it now. You should be getting ready now. You should be filling yourself up with life now. Working out your creative and problem-solving muscles now. So that when it hits the fan, your reaction will be congruent with what you've put yourself in, with what you have already filled yourself with. Life, goals, truth, hope. And then it just becomes another life lesson. It hitting the fan will just be another lesson learned towards your amazing adventure called life. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, again, my name is Josafat Emiliano. This was, again, episode 58, When It Hits the Fan. Thank you for taking just a few minutes of your day to listen to my rant. Thank you for just being a part of this journey so far, all the way to 58 episodes. So all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, I just want to say thank you for letting us into your homes. Thank you for letting us into your cars. Thank you for letting us into your hearts. So until next time, much love and many blessings.